What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever podcast for us. Maybe I'm tripping with Queen and Big. I'm Big Ken,
And I'm Joy the Queen.
and this is the first one.
And you messed it up.
March 15th, 2020. First ever.
First ever episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content.
Inaugural. That's a large word.
We are planning to grow this channel and podcast. Hopefully a lot better production than in my living room.
But nice, humble abode, pink couch, fashion.
He doesn't like anything that I like.
No. Very nice setup. Would I sit on this every day? Probably not. But very comfortable. Thank you for opening your home to us and our podcast. We can only go up from here.
You're welcome. And let's just pray that Big Ken ass don't get kicked out of my apartment before the end of this episode.
Here's the thing. That would be great for content. Now, this podcast is for my over-opinionated behind. And she can kind of show me the other side. She may agree, she may not agree.
9 times out of 10 I won't.
But there's that one.
Maybe.
That's all we need. But
Maybe.
it's going to be a lot
We'll
of current events, pop culture, sports, being that I do play football semi-professionally, that I add. Music, artists.
Yes, I will be your music tour guide through this journey of rhythm.
A little bit too much for me. I'm ratchet. I like trap.
Kevin Gates.
Favorite artist.
I mean, I like Ratchet too.
Yeah, I've heard some of your work.
Why
That early work.
you gotta talk about my music like that?
I'm not talking about it. I said I heard it and I enjoy it.
Okay.
I've given you positive feedback. I hadn't had anything, you know. Hopefully we can put some, since she owns the content, you may get to hear a little.
Maybe.
So, current events, sports, entertainment, that's what we're going to be about. And that's just, you know, I just really walk around the world and just be like, maybe I'm tripping. Joya, help me out.
I be tripping a lot because people don't have common sense.
Common sense ain't common.
We have a lot of people with, I guess, unpopular opinions just to become popular.
Like to do things and say things to get a reaction and attention.
Exactly.
And since we're the level heads, those same people think we're doing that to them. But we're just keeping it real and telling it how it is.
True.
All right.
So what's the first topic?
First topic is for you.
Me.
Because I don't know anything about it. Lil Uzi dropping his album.
Lil Uzi dropped Eternal Atake Part 1 and 2.
Won't be listening to any of it.
No?
Not
You're
at
not
all.
gonna hit the Uzi shoulder?
Here's the thing. He overdid it. In the beginning, it was kind of cool, but then it just got a little bit too. He got too. I would say I have no issues with it, but too flamboyant with it. When he did it the first time, it was kind of like, you know, he was like, okay, hit it, but then he was like rolling, and it just was a bit too much for me.
What's flamboyant about that? If you feel
No,
music,
that
if
first
you
one-
feel a rhythm, you can dance however you want.
No, that first one was fine.
Okay.
It was when he was doing it for the hundredth time, and it
But
just
that's
was a
his
little.
style.
He had a purse on at the time when he did it, so I guess that may have kicked it off too. No issues with that, but it was what it was.
Y'all be having some toxic masculinity.
No, not me. I'm good with that. It was just that I just don't like his music.
I think it's cool.
He's young. He's younger than me too. So we came up in different eras. I came up in the 80s, 90s. He's a 2000s baby.
Yeah, he's younger than me too, but I feel like there you go. I feel like he puts his feelings, his soul, and everything into his music. If he's emotional over a girl, he's gonna rap about it.
So he's the hip hop. What's that lady's name? Carrie
He's like-
Carrie Hills. What's the one that does the song? Only when she's going through breakups?
Talking about Taylor Swift?
There we go. He's the hip hop Taylor Swift? That's what you described.
No. He is the mumble rap Drake.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that.
Why?
Don't do that.
What?
Uzi and Drake in the same sentence? No.
I bet you Drake would do a song with Uzi.
Yeah, because they're both popular. That's money.
Okay. Don't knock it then.
I'm not knocking it. I just said I won't listen. I won't be listening.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
No promo. We ain't getting paid for this. But go check out Lil Uzi's album. Both of them. Because they fire. And I like it.
Well, it will be one album.
It's a
with
double
disc. So it's one album, 2 discs.
Okay.
Because you said album, both of them. That's not.
Y'all know what I meant. Next topic, please.
Alright. Now we got some real crazy things going on Facebook. First time I saw it, I thought I was watching somebody try to kill themselves.
I know what you're talking about.
The Big Straw Challenge. It was unnecessary. First of all, let's fast forward to it because we're going to go to we got to talk about the COVID. We got to talk about the COVID.
We're going to talk about that last.
But what I'm saying is, all the toilet paper is being bought up, but they taking tubes of toilet paper, maybe cutting up paper towel tubes, putting it in some form of liquid, and trying to suck it like a straw.
You think that's where all the toilet paper went for this challenge?
Bruh, I didn't put that together. Bruh, all these people doing this to go do some, bruh.
To kill themselves.
Fuck the COVID. Excuse my language. I do use secular of the world language. I will try to be as civil as possible. And please, I want to add to this. This is our first episode. I just came back from Houston from a football game. I was supposed to get my hair cut yesterday. Didn't happen. I was supposed to get a retwist last week. I have the locks or whatever. So here's the thing. I'm going to be the rough one today. She's going to be as beautiful as usual because I know she's not going to.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Forever.
Maybe we can work it out to where, do you know how to cut hair?
No.
Yeah, so I would let her do that anyway.
I can try.
Don't try on me.
Yeah, you can practice.
No.
I'll have your hairline in the back
And then they gonna be like, Big, maybe you tripping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm stuttering. The straw challenge. So I just saw the one. Queen said she saw a couple more.
Yes, I've seen one with a younger black guy using the toilet paper roll. So they're not that long.
Right.
And he sticks it in this giant glass of orange juice. Of all juices, you're gonna pick the most tart, tangy thing to come out of your nose.
You know they came out his nose.
It did come out his nose.
Okay, so I saw the black young lady do it, and she did it, and she went head first. I didn't know what I was about to look at. I'm like, what you doing with that juice in that thing?
Yes.
Put it in and just almost died on camera. So I got a question. Being that you saw multiple ones.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Asian, I've seen white people do it, I've seen black people do it, you've seen the lady, she did it. I've even seen a couple of celebrities, not A-list, but try it.
Oh, they trying to get back in the know.
Yeah.
They ain't need them Tide Pods though.
Nobody should be doing any of this stuff.
That's a fact. Do not do this. Do not try this at home, guys.
Don't even try it.
Unless you're a trained professional.
No.
Trained professional.
They shouldn't do it either.
Trained professional. But being that this is a multicultural situation, and then being that I'm sort of a ratchet and I'm of the world person, I think of, the saying when it's just like, who can like suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Mm-hmm. This is just see who has the best,
Yeah.
I saw the black girl. She failed us.
Well,
Did you see anyone kind of like, okay,
the Asian guy.
Oh, shit. Shoot.
Yeah. No.
So the Asians are winning?
I don't know. He fell too, but he got most of the juice up.
What I'm saying is, did he have a very crazy reaction, like,
Yeah.
Well, he didn't win.
Okay. Well, nobody's winning in this challenge anyway.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna win in the Tide Pod challenge. Nobody's gonna win in any challenge.
I didn't even want to watch the Tide Pod because that was just. I don't even like handling them in my hands because they just seem like just chemically and just
gritty.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like I'm old school, so I'm used to pouring it. Well, I'm used to we call it soap pot in Louisiana. The Purex soap pot and doing it in there. Then we upgraded to the, even though that wasn't until I was well in my 20s and out of the house that my grandmother would get the liquid and you do it like that or whatever. But then you go from, you think of the powder, then the liquid, and then you put that in a case that, basically a sausage casing. and you put it in there and it dissolves and like I don't know how that science works. To where you just throw it in there.
I don't believe that when you put the pod in there, that it's gonna dissolve.
Right. Something's gonna be left.
Right. You're gonna have like a half a pod like stuck in your sock or something.
Right. Or some loose, it doesn't dissolve all the way. You got like gunk in your shit.
I mean, if you're using hot water.
I apologize.
I mean, you can cuss.
I know, but I want to apologize to them because they may not cuss.
Then they may not listen.
No, please stay.
People cuss all the time.
We want you all. You're not cussing though. You have control. I don't see that.
Bigger vocabulary.
No, that's not true. I have a very vast vocabulary. And I will be using it here on this podcast.
We shall see. Anyway.
You want to keep going or go to the next topic?
Let's go to the next topic.
Because it goes right into what we were just talking about. Because they might have been high.
Oh, Lord.
The NFL
I'm actually very happy about this one.
will no longer suspend for positive tests of marijuana.
Small victory for our fellow chiefers.
We can't say that because this is a drug-free podcast.
It is, but I have fellers that chief.
Fellers.
So my fellow
I understand
chiefers.
I see what you said. I see what you said. That because we want to put a disclaimer out that we are drug-free.
Yes.
I have nothing against the marijuana.
Nothing against the tweeds.
Nothing against the weed.
I don't either. I have plenty of friends. I have plenty of family members who live a very productive life, who have excellent jobs, who are raising wonderful kids, who are very educated, very smart, and they just like the tweeds. Let them smoke the tweeds.
If they're not harming nobody, I think it's not bothering anyone.
Exactly.
But the abuse of anything can be bad, but I have not, and I don't.
There's no scientific evidence that marijuana is going to turn you into a zombie like meth.
No, but what I'm talking about are the ones who just like, I don't even want to try to get a job because I don't even want to go get a drug test. I'm talking about those unproductive type of people.
Well, I mean,
because there's a lot of productive people who smoke. What I'm saying.
True, there is a lot of productive people that smoke. I know a lot of them, but I feel like if you're that careless with your life that you are gonna pass up opportunity because you don't want to stop smoking for a couple weeks to take a drug test, then that's just a personal problem. Don't blame all
it's bigger than the weed. You are absolutely correct.
Right.
I'd agree with her.
See, smart.
Here's the thing. I started the argument to bring it out. So can I get 0.5?
0.2.
Okay. That's like, what's his name? To hear. Hard to. You just like old girl, too. But the NFL will no longer, because we went off on a tangent on weed. We talking about the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that.
But I know there's a player, I cannot remember his name. He is suspended indefinitely because he had popped positive for multiple drug tests. But it is assumed that he was doing other things other than the marijuana, but the beginning of his issues was marijuana related, and hopefully he's able to get
give him his job back.
Yes,
give him his
job back.
That's messed up. I think that even though this is about the NFL, I think that with any job, you know, especially within the United States, you know, I think that we have become a culture where we're gonna get, you know, our backs broken anyway. The government is always gonna find a way to make money off of us. Why not join the weed industry? We want it so bad.
Because they're trying to find a way to win.
All right. Well, they can win, but just make it legal.
But they can't win because they can't. They're trying They can't sanction it. They can't.
Yes, they can.
Say
they
this.
did it with liquor prohibition.
Yes, but the thing about it is, it takes a lot to create liquor.
Okay.
It doesn't take much to grow a plant. Like you can
Right.
do it. Say if we go to the produce section and there's all types of produce, those are plants. And say you've seen the do it yourself or the life hacks or whatever, and they go you get the guacamole, take the seed out, and you can grow guacamole, celery, carrots.
Of course.
So that's where the problem comes in, because if they legalize it to where you can buy it, and then now we can grow it on a smaller scale, we can black market sell it, which is already black market now. So that's the issue, what they're trying to figure out how to.
I don't agree with that, because the average person who doesn't have the resources cannot grow a whole farm of marijuana. If you're growing personal, I understand. Everybody, like, if you go even in an apartment complex, people have things hanging from their balcony. It might be some strawberries. You know what I'm saying? It might be a lemon tree that they have. Or
Lemon tree. Anybody got a lemon tree?
yes, they do.
What you got in here?
I ain't got nothing in here.
But it smells nice.
Anyway, they can have their own personal stash. I think that if the government limits it to a certain amount that you can have individually and grow individually, then I don't see a problem with that.
I would have to agree with her again, because there's lazy people
Right.
who don't want, that's with the liquor. They don't want to brew the liquor themselves. There's a lot of people who brew their own beer and things like that.
Right.
But for but personal consumption and not for sale.
Yeah.
Some of
I
them.
mean, you can holler at my uncle. He got that moonshine in the
I
bathtub.
can't deal with it.
That's what I'm saying. He don't
I'm
sell
scared.
it, but if you want to, I'll pack you a little bottle to go, and he'll send it off with you.
Scared.
Same thing with-
because I enjoy drinking, and I don't want to do too much. I watch the show Moonshiners. It's crazy. Scripted, but super crazy.
Topic, please.
All right. So this is what you guys been waiting for, because we're going through it right now. March 15th, 2020, and we're just getting on it. But it's been going on for a week now, right? Or
No, this is actually, I believe, the first case in the United States for COVID-19, aka that Corona.
Corona. I swear to God, I thought I was saying it wrong, and people were being funny, but it is Corona, not the beer. COVID-19.
Yeah, I think the first case was in January.
I'm out of the loop.
Because
Was that Asia or Italy?
I'm not 100% sure.
Ooh, we missed the topic.
But I know in Asia, where it came from, it was December was their first case.
But they had been had it though, and we got the news late because they had more people.
Well, that's because it wasn't coming into us.
Right. Because they block. They don't. If they don't want you to know, you ain't gonna know.
Fun fact: the reason why it's called coronavirus is because corona is crown for like another language, and that's what the molecules look like under the microscope. It looks like a crown.
Bruh, you serious?
I'm serious.
You snuck that in on me because we talked about a lot of this stuff.
Oh, I did some research on this.
But you just dropped this on me, and I'm like,
smart man, smart.
that's true. I wasn't ready for that. Man, I look bad on the camera. But you missed definitely go.
Oh.
We missed that. We can go back and you can flip it in post. I always wanted to say that.
Oh my god.
I always wanted to say
We can
that.
skip that one because I want to find out more details anyway.
I want to talk about it though.
You want to talk about it? Okay, well, let's talk about it right now. Then we can go back to Corona.
True. No. Let's talk about Corona, and then we can go back to it. We can go back to that because you're gonna flip it
Okay, well, Corona.
in post. Let me live.
Somebody kill me.
COVID-19. Should we tell them where we are? What city?
No,
But you know we had the situation.
we didn't say in Texas.
But then they'll know.
We're in Texas.
But then they'll know where we are because where they brought the people.
Don't matter.
We can just tell them.
Okay.
We're in San Antonio.
We are. And they keep flying them in like hotcakes.
Let's take it back. Me and Queen are originally from Louisiana. No relation. Did not know her until I met her somewhere. Not in the club though.
At work.
I didn't want to say it, but she did. We worked together. and just so happened to be from Louisiana. I'm from a part of Louisiana. She's from a part of Louisiana.
I'm from the best part, the deep south, where it goes down at, where we cook at, and we ain't scared to walk outside barefoot.
That's true.
And him, he just from Ratchet.
Big Ratchet. Where Ratchet started. I think they know now.
That is not where Ratchet started.
Don't say up top.
No. Ratchet started in the Crescent.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Bounce, Mardi Gras.
Where did the Ratchet come from? The song. Who rapped it and made it big?
Boosie? You credited Boosie for...
Well, I told you up north did it, but then he flipped it and took it.
Okay, fun fact. My uncle, who is a lot older than us, shout out to Uncle G. That's my
Uncle
dog.
G.
Uncle G. He first heard Boosie's Ratchet, and he said, what's the dance to that song? And we were trying to show him the dance, you know, the Ratchet, blah, blah, blah. He was like, man, we used to do that back in the day. I got this. And he started doing it.
Damn.
So I will not credit Boosie for the Ratchet. I will credit whoever my uncle learned to dance from.
But they probably were doing like that's probably what they did with the fingers down.
No.
Remember like Cap Calloway? Howdy, 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 ho.
No.
Now I'm showing my age.
You are. You showing my uncle's age.
True.
And I know he's way older than us.
True. But COVID-19, we're here in San Antonio. There were, I don't even know where they were coming from to come here to.
Well, they were coming from two places. So I believe it was from a cruise.
Okay.
So what they did was when the cruise ship was coming up around like, what was it? Like LA, like, you know, Compton, somewhere in that area. You know?
That's all the city you know in LA?
No. I'm just saying there was like a port right there. So they were bringing them in, and they were saying that any resident of the state of Texas is getting flown to San Antonio, which was about 100 people off of the cruise ship.
Okay.
So everywhere else where the people were from, they sent them to those particular states, to their centers for quarantine.
See, so
So we only got the Texas
the news made it think that it was everybody.
No.
I was under the assumption that it was everybody.
No.
If they was infected, they was coming here for quarantine.
No, and I think that what they're trying to do is get people as close to their home state as they can.
Right.
So if you live in Texas, where they're being quarantined is here, San Antonio, at the Air Force Base. That's where you're going.
I never knew that, and I
Yeah.
believe there's a lot of people that didn't know that.
Yeah, there
Because
was
they was
only
like,
about...
because you go on Facebook and it's just like, why are they bringing them here?
I mean, there are some cases to where some people just don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
Just bring them here to be quarantined, which I understand why they're doing it is because our base, the Lackland Air Force Base, is not operational.
Yeah.
They're only using it for training, things like that.
Right.
And they have this whole medical facility that can be used for things, situations like that.
Right. I get
So,
that.
as long as they don't let anybody out, which they have on occasions by mistake,
Why their eyes?
contaminating the rest of us,
Dang.
exposing the rest of us.
Exposure.
You know, and I think that people just need to be more careful. Not saying everybody needs to panic and do all of this stuff like they're doing now.
Grocery stores.
Yes.
No water. No toilet paper. Who started the whole toilet paper thing? Like, go buy up all the toilet paper.
I think people be eating it.
But why would you go? Why? It's just like, it reminds me of the gas shortage that one year when they were saying there's going to be
I
a shortage of
remember
gas. Was it supposed to be some sort of storm or something coming?
No, I think there was a rumor going around that gas prices were going to go up so high that we couldn't afford it, and then gas stations were going to be forced to close or some craziness like that.
And everybody went in San Antonio. Was it? No, it was Texas.
Everybody in Texas.
Everybody in Texas.
Texas is the #1 state for panic. As soon as we hear one thing on the news, people just
They believe
gone.
nothing. Well, we're not gonna say the news because
True.
we got the reporters, the freelancers on
Yeah.
Facebook. Don't read the article. Share.
Yeah, just go off the headline.
I heard the clickbait,
Clickbait.
and it was pandemonium here in San Antonio, in Texas, buying up they created the shortage. It lasted all a bit of a weekend, right?
Yeah, it was one weekend where lines were so long for gas.
They were hoarding gas.
They were hoarding gas. They started limiting people for gas. And pretty much it came to the point where all gas stations were almost out of gas anyway.
And there wasn't a shortage at all.
There wasn't. Everybody just went on the same day at the same time to fill up their tank. For what reason? Panic.
Because social media ran with it. And so
Shoved it.
this panic, that's crazy. This panic is going crazy behind the grocery stores, all the food, all the toilet paper, all the
Water.
cleaning supplies, all the water. Like we're from Louisiana, like it's a hurricane.
Like it's a hurricane. Like it's a Category 5 hurricane.
Yes.
Why?
You finna have all that toilet paper. You finna have all that whatever you don't need.
Where are you gonna put this stuff at? Who's gonna eat this stuff?
Why buy it all though?
I don't know. I went into the grocery store, I say about 2-3 nights ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just had a regular list, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, everything's not gonna be that bad. I just need a few things for my house, you know, a couple of things to put in my pantry, and I'll be fine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I went in there, people with 2 and 3 baskets full of stuff.
For what?
Shelves empty. Couldn't even get down the bread aisle. Couldn't even get down the canned goods aisle. They had bought up most of the water. I was able to get the little small bottle, like the packages.
Ponies. We call them ponies back
the
in the
little
day.
ponies, yeah. I was able to get like 2, you know, little small cases of those, which I was like, dang, what's going on here?
Right.
And since everybody had 2 and 3 baskets, I just slid right in front of somebody like, hey, I got a lot less than you. Let me go ahead. But I'm telling you, stocked with stuff, toilet paper, everything, like.
To where they have to limit it. You can get to it as
Now
to
it's
that.
being limited.
But they still got lines.
Lines.
They're only allowing a certain. Hold on.
That's your phone.
They are. The stores are at capacity with the fire marshal to where they're like only letting the people till they get to their capacity, and then
Right.
people are going in as groups of people are coming out. Like
Right.
everyone can't be in there at the same time.
My main thing is this: if you're going to the store, right, and you already know that there's a panic, you're causing yourself to be exposed to someone who may have the coronavirus. Because now you're going into this big crowded grocery store.
Yes.
That's why people have started limiting the amount of people that can be in the grocery store. They're starting to limit the amount of cases of water you can buy, the amount of, you know, number of
Because
toilet
it's
paper you can
unnecessary.
buy.
People don't even drink water.
They don't.
Buying water.
They don't.
What? I'm really. Maybe I'm tripping.
Maybe you are.
I'm not getting it. I haven't been to the grocery store yet.
I know a lot of people that haven't been to the grocery store yet, and you know why? Because
And I ain't got no food. I'm a bachelor.
don't be coming over here and try to eat my food. That's all I know.
See that refrigerator over there?
Don't.
We say refrigerator. We don't say refrigerator.
Don't be looking at my refrigerator like that.
She was eating when I got here.
Sure was.
And I was like, I ain't had nothing but breakfast.
But I'm, you know, trying to transition into being a vegetarian. So it's very easy for me to find foods and recipes.
I
and
want to
things
eat
like that.
rice and beans, and I just want to eat like a bird. But she'd be like, protein, baby, chicken, beef, rice, sweet potatoes, yams.
I was gonna say something, but I'm
Yes.
gonna hold it in. Let's get back on this COVID-19.
Stores limiting people, closing the schools. My son, damn, should I say that? I have children. Well, I have a son. Boy's good looks. My son's 17 years old. Junior in high school. His mother texted me because in Louisiana they're on spring break.
He get an extra week or two.
He's
right?
not going back to school till April 15th.
Wow.
Today is the 15th.
A whole month.
Yes.
I heard schools in Louisiana were doing the same thing, closing for, 2 weeks to 30 days,
I said
things like
Louisiana. My
that.
son goes to school in Louisiana. And he
Oh.
said I heard Louisiana. My son
I
lives
thought
in
you were
Louisiana.
talking about Texas.
No, my son lives in Louisiana.
Okay, well, you know.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe you should speak up.
Caveat. we don't know everything about each other.
No.
So we're gonna be surprising each other.
Yeah. I have a kid.
Do you?
Lives in Louisiana.
You lying.
I'm just playing.
I was saying like, what?
No. No, I don't have any kids, guys.
All right. But my thing is this. My big issue with I understand the limiting the children things, but it's basically, it's going to go when we're going to go into, but
Yeah.
there's high school basketball that's going into state championships. They can't even have crowds to come watch them play. And in Louisiana, high school basketball is big. And there are some guys in some districts that are rivals. There was some show on TV. There was some that showed on TV, and only essential personnel, refs, coaches, timekeepers, friends, family.
Yeah.
Family, and that's it. So I mean, there's probably like 8 players on these. There's 16 guys,
Yeah.
and so
I mean,
that's about 25 people.
That's what is the reason why the NFL shut down. I mean, not the NFL, but the NBA. Because
the NBA is shut
originally
down.
they said that we were gonna let you guys play with no fans.
Yeah.
LeBron said, "I'm not having it." Then an NBA player tested positive for the disease.
After he touched all the microphones,
He thought it was a game.
and that COVID got in his.
But yeah, so originally the NBA was supposed to play without any fans.
Utah Jazz. What's his first name? Gobert. I think it's Gobert's his last name. I'm not a Utah. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. So when she brought up LeBron, I was like, okay.
Spurs.
Celtic pride.
Spurs.
How are you a Spurs fan from Louisiana?
I've always been a Spurs fan, even when I lived in Louisiana.
And they wasn't winning when she was there.
And the Jazz was?
They had
The Hornets?
They had Karl Malone.
The Hornets?
They went to Charlotte, back to Charlotte. Now they got the Pelicans. But I never was a fan of the New Orleans Hornets or the
Exactly.
New Orleans
so
Jazz.
don't hate me for liking the Spurs. They right next door.
There's several different. You could have been the Atlanta Hawks.
No.
Okay.
Isn't Hawks baseball?
No, that's basketball. The Atlanta Hawks.
Oh.
Oh my God. We know who's gonna be on top of the sports topics.
Hey, college basketball canceled, and I'm mad.
True, March Madness.
That's
I was really looking forward to that.
stuff.
That's the only time I watch college basketball.
I don't care about the professionals. Let me see some college basketball.
Facts.
That's what I like.
Facts. But then going back to the schools being closed, what I've been seeing on social media, in which I'm having an issue with, is, now I do understand people whose job is not sending them home, because some jobs are. They're trying to figure out who's going to watch their children.
Right.
And now the thing that bothers me is who going to feed the kids.
Okay, so
Or having an issue like, these kids about to eat me out of house and home.
there are some schools here in San Antonio that I've seen on the news that have volunteered to still feed kids lunch and things like that until they run out.
But how they going to get there? If your mama at school?
You mean at work?
Yeah, work.
I mean, the mama could be in school too.
That's a fact, because there's a
knocking
lot
it.
of moms out there getting it in. Groceries, out of hand. Stop it.
Yes.
School, be safe, I understand that, because it's this thing of, large groups of people being together, got the teacher, staff, student body, has to be safe.
Kids are not as clean as adults.
Some adults aren't as clean as kids.
I've seen a video on Instagram where they were like, this is why they shut down Disney World, and they had a little girl licking a window in the restaurant.
No, she was licking that pole.
There was one
She was
doing
in
that
line
too.
licking a.
No, this one was licking a window.
The turnstile pole. Let me tell you a funny story about licking things and why I don't use. Yeah, I thought I was going there. And why I don't use, if I can help it, public salt and pepper shakers. I was at McDonald's back in the 80s. I was a kid, so that's when McDonald's was better, when they had the All-American meal for $1.99.
$1.99.
That's how old I am.
Oh my god.
The Big Mac meal, the number one, was $2.99. Now it's damn near $8. But there was this kid, this baby, And the baby was fussy and this, that, and the other. And they were gonna tell you, well, the mom, I don't think the mom gave it to him, but he was like teething on the salt shaker.
Ugh.
He was teething on it.
Ugh.
Had the whole thing in his mouth.
And the next person
I
just
shouldn't
came
have did-
and.
Bruh, on they fries.
Mm-mm.
On they fries.
Parents, first of all, the person who poured that on their fries had to have been, if they would have known, they would have been disgusted.
Facts.
Second of all, the person who let their baby put their mouth on that and don't know whose hands have been on that before,
Right.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was back when McDonald's used to have parties at
I mean, they can still have parties at
I
McDonald's.
haven't seen one since I was little.
It has to have a play place.
Facts. And they don't have those much anymore.
Yeah, they're rare to find.
I'm sure there's some kids somewhere with that slide
Kids
burn.
don't play outside no more.
That's a fact.
They eat their nuggets and play
And go,
video games.
oh, I want to go home to Fortnite.
My tablet,
Where's my charger?
my iPhone.
Facts. My son is 17. He didn't get a phone until... Now, he got a phone when he was like 14, 15. But then he broke it. But then my son doesn't even talk on the phone. He doesn't talk on the phone with me. He texts me when he wants something.
That's how most kids are.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, what you want? Hey, there's this thing. Or, hey, call Mom.
Oh,
That's all he does with that or whatever. But schools and sports are being affected. Now, being that I
Yes.
play semi-professional football, I had a game yesterday in Houston in which we won. But we were nervous that they were going to cancel it. But as I was coming back in from Houston, the owner of the league said they're going to postpone play until they get a handle on this virus.
and I did make him sanitize before he came and sat on my
Sure did.
cute little pink couch.
I said, hey, I'm coming back in town. And she called and said, well, take care of your business. Do what you got to do, but make sure you sanitize before you come over here.
Yep.
Because me and my house.
We will serve the Lord and put some sanitizer on.
But, you know, that goes into sports being shut down or postponed until we get a handle on this. Work from home is being offered in certain companies.
Yeah, it's still debating on, we're not going to say the name, but whether our job is going to allow us to work from home.
Right.
I prefer that only because we are in a pretty large building with lots of employees. There are times where I feel like people aren't the most sanitary.
Say it. Because y'all, in y'all area, I talk to the people who clean the building. No issues in our bathroom. And our bathrooms are across from each other.
Okay, I'm going to say it.
We can smell theirs.
Women, y'all nasty, and you need to stop.
I can say I went to the restroom, somebody's coming out the windows. I'm like, God damn, what's going on up in there?
It smells like death in there.
I've heard.
And I will be honest, I am not the type of person that likes to use public restrooms, even though your job restroom shouldn't be considered public restroom.
All right.
No,
Because
I
not
don't
for the
use it.
general public.
I
Because
don't use it.
Chris, who cleans the restroom, shout out to Chris.
Is the black dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guys clean the bathroom, so they in there, so you know they coming to tell us. Not who, but just like, I don't like going up in there, man. That's what they say, like, dang, I don't want to go in there.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. But we're going off on another topic. COVID-19, which may have started in the bathroom.
And I would work bathroom.
Right. Which could have started in the bathroom, but man, work from home. I think let's take a step back.
Okay.
Do you think the panic is warranted?
No. I don't think we should be panicking at all about COVID-19, but I do think that people should still be aware,
Right.
you know, be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
But be prepared to where don't do stupid stuff
Right.
like going to the store, buying up all the cleaning products.
Right.
Is your house that dirty that you need that much?
Now, hold on now, because there was a couple who bought up all the Lysol wipes and stuff like that, and they made $100,000 so far. Reselling it.
That's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary, but you know,
It's unnecessary.
I
And the
can't
people
knock
who
their
the people who bought it from them, that's ridiculous too. You need it that bad that you had to go buy it from a third party?
Well, if the store didn't have it.
So Clorox wipes are what, $2.99, $3.99?
They sell
They
it for
don't
like
know where we
$20.
work at, but the Clorox wipe I got in my house, got it from the job. So I got mine for free.
True. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
But
I'm
I mean,
like,
my
so
question is this.
to make $100,000 is how much did they resell it for?
Maybe like $20 a roll.
For what?
A little container.
Man, you crazy?
People gonna buy it if the store is running out. But my only thing is this: you should have already had this at your house.
That's true.
I always keep the wipes. Always keep spray.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep the Comet. You know.
Comment. Here's the thing. There's gonna be tidbits and things that we say that you'll know that we aren't young. Who used she used Dutch cleanser in the yellow can.
Hey, you ever want your tub to sparkle? You better sprinkle that Comet on there. Get that ring right off.
I used to hate Comet when my grandmother told me go in there and just spray that stuff. Have your nose burning, have your hands all chalky.
And you're supposed to use gloves.
Come on, man. I grew up.
Cleaning gloves.
Didn't have that.
Okay.
Did not have that at all.
But anyway,
you're not finna waste my money on some gloves.
Anyway, you should already have this in your house.
True. But let's say this now. Being that you're a woman, yeah, you're going to do that. You're very neat. You're very, you know what I'm saying? I'm a guy. I don't have all those essentials at the time. It's like if I got it, I needed it at a point and it's still there. If I run out and don't need it again, like Clorox wipes, that's not something high on my list.
Why not?
And it's just me.
I mean, you don't wipe off your surfaces after you cook and stuff like that.
409 spray and a towel. Or a damn towel if I wash dishes.
Yeah.
So this dish so clean.
Yeah. It's the same thing. You don't need those things. People are looking at it like, I need Lysol wipes. No, you don't. You got some disinfectant spray?
Yeah.
You got antibacterial spray?
Yeah.
Rub it on there, wipe it off, call it a day. You don't have to have those things. As long as you're being sanitary, you'll be fine.
Okay.
But when it comes to washing your hands...
I think that's just some BS.
What?
Granted, there are some people who don't wash their hands because in the place that we work, there's some people I know. They just go in there, you doing your thing, whatever, they just walked out.
Yeah.
They just walked out.
There's no excuse for that. I've seen someone in the women's restroom.
That was mind-boggling to me.
They just stuck their hand under the water, dried it off, and walked out. No soap, passed the sanitizer up.
Because there's two lines of defenses in the restroom. Mm-hmm. Soap and water, then as you walk out, sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Didn't use none of it.
No. And then she threw it in the sink trash can. You know how they have the little holes in the sink? Mm-hmm. She put it in that. Mm-hmm. That's a no-no.
Why?
Because if you put the tissue or the paper towel after you dry your hands in that means you touching the door when you're walking out. There's a trash can by the door.
That's a fact as well.
You grab the handle with the tissue.
Now hold on.
Hold it with your foot, throw it, and then run out before it touches you.
I have a confession.
What's the confession?
I don't use the paper towel to open the door.
Why?
I use my bare hand.
Why? Because when people don't
But you have to look at this. I understand what you're saying as I think about it, but the number of people who don't wash their hands is a few to compare to who has washed their hands.
Germs multiply, though.
Can I speak?
Go.
If say someone goes in and doesn't wash their hands.
Right.
And they grab the door and go out. Mm-hmm. And someone after them goes and wash their hands. There's a little soap on that thing. So when they grab the door, they're actually cleaning it.
No, it does not work like
and
that.
I am washing my hands and grabbing the door bare because you have to look at so many people are such germaphobes. That's the bare bottom to the toilet talk. You watch that one?
No, you might as well.
No, listen.
Touch the
handle
of the toilet and just walk out.
No, that's foot.
That is foot.
And here's the thing. And that's probably the cleanest thing in the bathroom.
No.
How?
Because it splashes up the particles.
How if you sitting on it?
Because you're not
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm 6'2", on a bad day, 299.5 pounds. Hence the name Big. I'm not finna be hovering over no toilet. I got bad knees. I'm already tall. That's an accident waiting to happen.
You better hold on to the top of the
Oh,
stall.
God. One slip and I'm out. All you go hit, boom, boom, boom.
All you gotta do is hover, handle your business, hit the thing with your foot,
Ooh, dexterity.
hit the lock with your foot.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious? You doing all that?
Yes.
You're locked with the foot?
Or you hit the lock with your jacket sleeve.
Bruh, I've never heard anyone say they put their foot.
Yes, it just slides.
Why?
Over.
When I go in the bathroom, I just click. I'm telling you, you can hear what people are doing in the restroom. So no one in the men's restroom is putting their foot up on the door. Bruh. In the comments below, please, ladies, please say if you use your foot to latch.
Okay, I know a lot of ladies that do this too. When you pull the tissue down, you rip that first piece off, you gotta do it like at least 2 or 3 rolls, right? Pull it off and you throw it away.
That's why they buying all that toilet paper, because here's another thing, and that triggered me.
What?
Y'all use too much toilet paper, because I have cohabitated
Somebody else's hands touch those pieces of toilet paper.
No, listen, I'm gonna tell you how I get my toilet paper. I grab it, and and it comes off. I don't have to touch it. But let's go back to what I was triggered about with the toilet paper and women. Should I tell them like a lot of business?
You don't have to.
I've cohabitated with women in romantic relationships.
What about us?
At least 4.
What about us?
I had this one, I happened to be off that day. Because I'm wondering why we running through toilet paper like we eating it. I'm sitting there doing my thing, chilling. And she, mind you, she only did number 1. I said, you better roll all that back up.
That's messed up.
4 squares.
4 squares.
All you need is 4 squares.
4 scored 7 years ago.
For number 1s? 4 squares max.
Okay, if you're at your house, that's a different story. When you're in public, that's dating.
Take all you want. If I could take the roll, I will.
Because I don't want to touch or wipe myself with tissue that other person has touched with their hands.
And also, that is a lower quality of toilet paper.
It is.
At the job or anywhere else you have to do anything in public or outside of your home. In the house, you got the quilted no brands.
But it's the fluffy stuff.
You know what I'm saying? We get the triple ply and the quadruple ply and the triple quadruple roll. You know, with the bear. You know what I'm saying? No flakes.
So, in the public restroom,
Yes.
ladies, I know y'all do this too. I know y'all do this.
Comment below. No, that's dumb.
You throw those first pieces away.
First of all, I don't care because it's not yours. You didn't pay for it. But that's where our raises go.
Our raises
In the
toilet
trash. In the trash. Y'all throwing away. Hey, costs. But fellas, even when you get paper towels in the house, do you throw the first one away?
That's
Say
in
you're
your
entertaining.
house.
Say you're entertaining.
If I'm entertaining, I ain't gonna have nasty people to my house.
We don't know who these people are or what they do before they got here.
And they're your friends. You know what they do.
Shit, everybody got secrets.
I guess.
But the most perfect person has the most secrets. But you grab it, you pull out a little bit, and it comes right. It's perforated. See that word?
Did you say it right?
Perforated. Google it. It's perforated edges. And you pull it off, and you don't have to touch the other one.
True. Now, like I'm saying, if I'm at my house, I'm not throwing those first ones away.
Right.
Because my hands was the last one that touched it.
Right.
So, and then I'm at my own comfort of my own home where I have my wipes and I have my, all of this other stuff too.
I feel you on that. Man, we were in that bathroom for a long time. We talking about working and work from home and all that. We was on that for a while. But let's move forward. Which could be a plus and a minus, which coincides with school Spring break is canceled and extended at the same time.
At the same damn time.
You on spring break, you think you're going back to work or school?
No.
It's extended. You got 3 more weeks. But guess what? You can't go to the beach.
It's extended and canceled at the same time.
I just said that.
I know.
I just said that. So you got a couple more days off from spring break to extend. They taking it all the way till Easter.
Yeah. It's getting ridiculous, man. But I understand why they're doing it. When people usually go to like Miami and to like the beaches for spring break.
Port Aransas to the Gulf of Mexico, which isn't a real beach in my personal opinion.
It's not. It's a lot of, people getting wild out there, drinking and touching stuff and
And that's when you get 4 more weeks, you're out there, and that's when COVID babies are coming.
Yeah.
COVID, let's say the virus. That's gonna be the baby's name. COVID, let's say the virus.
It's Corona.
Damn it! Why it's Corona. Here's the thing: the disease got 2 names. It's COVID-19. That's the scientific name, and then it's Corona, not the beer. Because we're not endorsed by those guys, so we're talking about the virus.
We ain't endorsed by the disease either.
Damn it! It's giving us content,
but we can still talk about it.
But we're gonna say Corona, not the beer, because they ain't paying us. And COVID-19. Funny thing I saw on Facebook is that there was a picture of a train, the tanker train.
Yeah.
And they circled COVID-19 on side of the tanker. That's too much of a coincidence. And that's what makes people panic is when they see these different types of things. And then there's the thing where they saw the umbrella corporation that looks like
there was also a book that was written in 1981 that talks about it. And it mentioned, what was it, Hunan, or where it came from as the source.
Man, it's
a lot of coincidental things. Me personally, I think that a lot of stuff has to do with fate. I think that a lot of people do have somewhat of a premonition and can sense certain things, or
The Simpsons. They've been right a lot of times.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10, they're right.
So I think when stuff like that happens, I don't really consider it a coincidence. It's just something that people knew or somewhat figured was going to happen, and then it happened.
But this whole thing has knocked off people's everyday lives. It's work, school, groceries. We've had the what that was Friday. They did the state what do you call it? State of emergency.
Yeah.
National state of emergency, which opens up and allocates a lot of federal funding for aid and broaden the scope of what medical.
I think that's a good idea because.
But when people think national state of emergency, they think martial law.
No, and that's not the case. I think that with the help that we're supposed to get from the government, it's just supposed to be for more testing, supplies, things like that, and to help isolate.
I want to say 50 billion.
Yeah, I think it was 50 billion. But
could have been a million, but I'm thinking 50 billion.
Did you hear how many cases there are in New York?
I've stopped watching.
Well, I put it like this. So far, as of this morning, I believe we only have 63 in Texas. Yeah. The number should be a lot higher than that.
Facts.
Because of the fact that our governor has been requesting more tests and more resources. Texas is a huge state. And even though New York is overpopulated, I feel
But my thing is this, and I'm going to be devil's advocate, and being that I was on the government side, it's somebody getting paid.
Yeah.
Somebody getting paid. And the state of emergency opens up more money for them to get paid. Here's the thing, where these tests come from? We've only been rocking for like a week at least. Where are all these tests coming from that they can do free?
I mean, it's not necessarily free.
No, it is. It's free for the consumer,
right? But
someone had to create it and buy it, and that allocation of money has been put in someone's pocket.
Right, but it's just like a hospital bill. When you go to the emergency room, they charge you for this,
everything.
and that. Insurance may cover it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the same thing. It's
but
like a strep throat test.
But they've broadened so much stuff though, like.
Yeah.
And being that COVID has flu-like symptoms, there's a lot of people who having a lot of false cases. Like I think I have it, but then you come to find out, no, these are just symptoms of the flu and not COVID-19.
Right.
So then we have to look at it and follow the money. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just being the writing's on the wall sometimes.
But here's the thing. You can have the flu and think you have COVID. The best thing that I think that what people are trying to do is just to make sure and to be safe.
True. But did they create the panic to open up the money?
I don't think so. I think anytime that there's a major thing going on or, you know.
Oh, hold on now. Since about 2008, we didn't have a lot.
True.
SARS, Zika, H1N1, swine flu, bird flu, measles, anthrax, Y2K didn't have this sort of response. And they were all supposed to be killers. What?
I think Ebola is
Ebola.
way more dangerous than the COVID-19 because
but they had a cure. I think there's a cure for Ebola.
Now.
It's caught early. Because Ebola was back in the day and then it came back. Because remember Bernie Mac said, you look like you got Ebola.
Oh, it's true.
So he was saying that, so that had been around. It's just like they just try to find the newest thing to catch fire.
Yeah,
and run with it because
the
there was no social media back then.
I think that the news outlets is what's causing the panic. Yeah. Even the national ones and the accredited ones. Yes. I've seen people go on, you know, Fox News or CNN and just saying, oh, well, we should just give everybody the coronavirus and then we can all just get it over with. Like it was chickenpox or something.
Damn.
Like, no, like, stop making false statements of something that you don't know.
Facts.
Have an actual medical professional who knows the research on this speak on it.
Yeah.
And then you won't have that much mass hysteria.
Yeah.
People are going to be fine. This is the earth. We've sustained many of things.
Facts. Plagues,
all kinds of stuff.
You say plagues? Your tongue got stuck?
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like you said plagues.
I said plagues.
We'll see it in post.
Always trying to correct me.
I've always wanted to say that. But let's talk about which we did miss, and what I believe is when they talk about the deaths, is there's like no definitive number. There's reports saying that it is because Italy's closed.
They've had over, I believe, 200 deaths in just the past 24 to 48 hours.
Right. And Italy is an older country. Very old. And they said babies, children, older people, and people with compromised immune systems or naturally weak immune systems are susceptible to death. I've even read where they said that it's not as grave as people think it is, which is serious. It's serious because anyone can die from anything.
Right.
Pneumonia, flu, any illness you can die. But
that you can die from having the flu or COVID or the coronavirus or anything with those symptoms is dehydration.
Diarrhea.
Dehydration, diarrhea, things like that.
And they say respiratory.
Yeah. Just make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. Make sure that you're sanitizing if you're coughing and all that stuff. Try to get some type of relief. That's it.
Make sure you're sanitizing. We can't sanitize because ain't nothing to buy. Tito's, which we're not being sponsored by, put a cease and desist on people who were making hand sanitizer out of their product because it's such a high alcohol content. Tito's, the vodka.
Making sanitizer out of Tito's?
Yes. And it's not enough alcohol in it to kill anything.
All you need is, if you don't have sanitizer, use regular alcohol, rubbing alcohol.
Showing your age again.
It does.
A lot of people don't know that.
I mean, they should have rubbing alcohol in there.
I don't.
You ain't got nothing at your apartment?
I'm a bachelor.
That ain't no excuse.
I'm going to use it.
So what do you use like if you shave or something like that? You don't use alcohol?
Clearly, I don't shave. Luxurious.
What about when you get like lined up and stuff? You don't.
They do
smack
that
it
at
on
the barbershop.
Oh, okay.
And they've gone away from doing that. They kind of like wipe a little bit. They don't even spray you no more. Like they try to get you, they try, like that.
No. What kind of barbershops they got
We
now?
have 107.
Okay.
We got time for that?
Yeah, because we're still gonna edit all of the other stuff out.
And it's gone.
Yeah, it's gonna shorten.
In post.
In post.
So, this is a bit out of order because we should have talked about this before COVID-19. Former Florida governor. This happened 2 days ago, guys. Or it may. Found, was it a hotel room?
I believe so.
Hotel room.
You got the screenshots in your phone?
Well, you're supposed to be the reporter. You read better than me.
I'll read it, but come on.
Let me pull it up right quick.
Hurry up.
I got you. Which one you want? You want this first and then this one second?
That one first.
This one first?
Okay.
In a room with a male escort and what was alleged, because we have to say alleged,
Alleged.
crystal meth. Methamphetamines. Amphetamines. And he was inebriated. Because I thought the word was inebriated.
It's inebriated.
I found that out today. I was saying inebriated.
Okay.
Under the influence of an alcoholic beverage. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's the story, guys. So it says that it was previously reported that the former mayor of Tallahassee.
Cite your source.
This is the Jasmine brand. Thank you, Jasmine brand.
By way of
By way of Instagram?
the Shade Room.
No, this is actually on the Jasmine brand's Instagram.
I heard it on the Shade Room first. Thank you, Shade Room.
Okay. Anyway.
After she told me.
Thank you, Jasmine brand.
Both of you guys.
It says that he was in a Miami hotel room when a man.
And Miami's supposed to be closed.
This was before it was closed. He was
He's trying to creep. He's
sure.
trying to creep on spring break to a city that's closed because spring break is canceled and extended.
He was like, y'all ain't supposed to be here anyway.
Right. What y'all doing here anyway?
But anyway, this is a guy named Travis Dyson. He had appeared to overdose on crystal meth. He said that... Alleged. This is all alleged. We don't have to say it multiple times.
Yes, we do. Because what if somebody fast forwards and then
that's their problem.
we give them crap.
Alleged in the video.
Her views are not the views of Big Kim.
Okay. But anyway, it says that on Andrew Gillum released a statement and said he was in Miami for a wedding celebration when first responders were called to assist one of his friends. He said he had too much to drink, but he wanted to be clear that he'd never used methamphetamines. He said he apologized to the people of Florida for the distraction that caused the movement, but he said he was thankful and incredible to Miami Beach EMS for their efforts, and that he was going to spend the next few weeks with his family, appreciate privacy during this time. So it looks like what he was saying was that he was not there. He was at a separate hotel room, and he was only there because he was celebrating a wedding with a friend. That friend overdosed on methamphetamines.
Who happened to be a gay male escort.
We'll just say male escort.
No, because what was where did he get him from? He's on a site.
Right.
What's the name of the site?
Alleged site.
True.
See?
Let's go.
You're not even following your own rules. Okay, so
It's our
anyway,
first day.
according to what Jasmine Brand has, it says he works as a male escort and is in school to be a nurse practitioner.
Oh, he doesn't have to be gay. You're right. You are absolutely correct.
That's what I'm saying.
You are correct.
He's a male escort.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be a sexual relationship to be an escort of any kind.
Exactly.
You are absolutely correct. I want to apologize.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sorry.
Aww.
To you and that gentleman who's on that male escort site, don't want to judge or assume anything.
Exactly. Alleged.
True.
Okay, so anyway, it says that Andrew was not fully naked, but his friend, the male escort from a website called rentmen.com or rentmen website, it doesn't list the...
Rent men, that sounds so weird.
It sounds pretty demeaning.
Right. Rent
Yeah.
men, like, if it was, I'm sure this is going to come out in another episode where I feel like I'm being used, but rent men, you know what I'm saying?
It's just like rent women.
That's weird. Mail order. We say mail order for women.
No, but that's not renting though. Mail order is you're ordering them and you're keeping them.
Remember back, showing my age again, remember back when Netflix
Mm-hmm.
was a subscription base for, you could get the DVD
Yeah.
and you get it and you got to send it back to get the other
Yeah,
one?
like Redbox.
It was the first. You're absolutely correct. Same colors too.
Mm-hmm.
They might have bought each other out or something. But when you say rent man, that's what I think of. The old Netflix way.
I don't think it's like that. I don't even know what it's like. But if someone made a website, which I'm pretty sure there might be some out there like that, rent women.
Or the B word.
Yeah, that's some demeaning stuff. Whether it's a man or
the
a
W
woman.
word or the H word.
But anyway, it says that sex was suspected.
Whoop. So
Even-
can I take my apology back?
No.
Okay.
Says sex was suspected because there was blood and feces on the bed, and yes, police were wearing body cameras, so footage will eventually come out.
Wow. They gonna show the footage?
I mean, things get leaked,
But we can't.
especially when it's politicians, and especially when it's black politicians.
That's a fact, because the former governor of Florida is African American. But we can't even suspect sex because it was supposedly a drug overdose. Maybe his body
Right.
evacuated itself
Right.
because I've had friends who've gotten too drunk and,
Yeah.
on themselves.
I've thrown up everywhere before, but I've never.
Really?
I wouldn't poop.
Stop talking about that in front of me. I don't want to talk about that.
What? Throw it up?
No, the second part.
I'm just saying.
Don't-
You said you had friends that done that when they were drunk, and I said I've never done that. I'd throw up, but I wouldn't do that.
I see what you're saying, but I don't want to talk about you pooping. It's weird.
Weirdo.
Because you're like little and small, so I can't think of you. First of all, you're trying to keep your balance.
What?
You're trying to keep your balance because you don't want to sit on the toilet.
I'll sit on my own damn toilet, but I'm not gonna.
And you're closing doors with your feet.
I don't poop in public places.
I feel that too. Even when you're sick?
Even when I'm sick, I'm going home.
Damn.
I'm lighting my candle, bringing it in the bathroom, my incense, all kind of stuff, my Erica Badu.
Is
playing
it that
softly in the
bad? Is it
background.
that bad? You need all that?
No.
You just want. It's just.
comfortable.
You're making a move. You're creating the
It's
sex.
comfortable.
So everything comes out smoothly.
Right.
But that's crazy. But no. But the thing is this. I understand we can. Why are they in the room? Why is the mess on the bed?
My only thing is this.
Why is he naked? We missed all that.
Well, only the guy was naked. The
was
escort.
alleged
Allegedly.
alleged. No, he wasn't an escort because of rentmen.com, so we know he's an escort. We're not homosexual.
But it says that he was also in school to be a physician assistant and all that stuff. So
we're strippers. But
right. And so he's making his money so he can go to
but
school.
what I'm saying is,
Why was he naked?
didn't you say there was no wedding?
Oh, well, come to find out there was no wedding at all. And he made the story up just to kind of cover his...
Behind.
Yeah, cover his behind.
Cause you should have been covering it. Could have been no mess. But I'm trying. Maybe I'm tripping.
Maybe you might be tripping.
One knew, but then but here's the thing: the story can go together, and I'm thinking they're gonna probably find a way to cover it up, or maybe move on to something else that they won't think about because
Well, it already
the overdose
because this happened a few
2 days
days
ago.
ago.
Well, it was reported 2 days ago,
Right.
but it could have happened sometime before
Right.
Louisiana.
And then COVID-19 is now this big old thing, so that kind of got buried under that.
So you're saying Andrew Gillum is the reason COVID-19, so he can
I'm
cover
not
up
saying
his...
that he's the reason. I'm just saying that he's probably like, Glad COVID-19.
True. But it's just like, but the thing, the overdose is really saving him from the nudity from the other guy,
Right.
the bodily evacuation from the other guy, and he was drunk, but no drugs that he had taken.
So he says.
So he says, allegedly.
We don't know if his blood has been tested or anything like that.
So his story could check out.
But where's the wedding?
You gotta find something. You gotta find a reason to be that drunk.
But if there was no wedding, then his story is already in
But they're
shambles.
still not even telling the whole story, so.
True.
Or could have been a non-disclosure wedding where it was a celebrity of some sort, or
No.
a politician that just doesn't want anyone to know about a wedding.
I think that...
And it's in Miami. Could have been a
I think
beach,
that
private
in
location
that
situation.
the friend would speak out.
He's just not getting out of the hospital, so maybe he will soon.
No, I'm saying the friend
Who had the wedding?
who had the wedding would speak
But
out.
if it's a secret wedding,
So they don't have to reveal their identity. They can just say, yes, he was at my wedding. This is
bro,
what
you know how
happened.
much identity we find out by people who don't give their identity?
What?
100% of the time.
Okay.
They go, sources say that blah, 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 blah. Come to find out the source was so-and-so.
Okay.
So it's no, I'm gonna try it.
But I mean,
I'm
if,
gonna try a word. Anonymity. Is that the word?
Sounds about right.
You may be wrong too.
I know. That's why I say that.
Anonymity. There may be no secrets, or any, what's the word?
What? What are you talking about?
The person
Ask
who.
Siri. Ask Siri.
No, what I'm saying is there may not be any way to ensure that their identity won't be revealed. That's why
Yes,
they probably
there-
won't come forward.
A non-disclosure agreement.
Those aren't. If you ain't got no money, if I sign a non-disclosure and I tell you something, if you make me sign a non-disclosure and you say whatever goes on here, you can't talk about it when you leave here, or I will sue you, I have nothing. So I can go tell who I want, and we'll just deal with it in court.
You ain't even got no sanitizer at your house.
That's a fact because they bought it all up because of COVID-19.
So if I did sue you, I couldn't even get sanitizer.
Nothing. I got toilet paper though.
You gonna try the toilet paper
True.
challenge?
Hopefully, former Governor Andrew Gillum is I can't say innocent because there were no crimes, but hopefully his name is.
And they said he was about 30,000 votes away from becoming the governor again.
He was. Because he was popular. I know him from watching The Breakfast Club and things like that when he does it in other different media outlets.
I think he just needs to live in his truth. If he likes male escorts or if he likes males, then
But he's married with children, and he's big in the church.
so.
Very big. So hopefully he can. Hopefully there's more to the story that we can come back and tell you guys what we found out, and
What's done in the dark usually comes to the light.
That's a fact.
So we'll find out soon. Again, this is all alleged of what's been reported, but we'll see.
Yes, we will. But that's all the topics we have for today on our first
ever
podcast, episode 1, numero
been
uno.
Good, guys. I am Joya the Queen,
And I'm Big Ken.
and this is
Maybe I'm tripping.
with Joya the Queen.
And Big Ken. We out.
Bye, guys.